Alright, good morning. It is very early, but here we go, having an early start. Today, hopefully, if all goes to plan, we will bleed up the clutch on this 95 Rev 3 MR2. Initially, I was hoping I could just use a little pressure bleeder. This is what I normally use, but the caps don't screw, they just kind of pop on, so that's not going to work. It threads on to the normal cap. These are different, so that's a bit of a challenge, but the plan is, I've seen a lot of places online have different guides for these, and a lot of people think they're very difficult. I'm hoping we can just put the cap back on. If you can see that there's like a little lid on top of the cap, and if you take that off, there's a little tiny hole, and you can blow straight through it. So hopefully we can just fill up the reservoir with fluid, and put compressed air in here, and blow the fluid all the way through the lines and out of the bleed nipple on the slave cylinder. So that's what we're going to try first of all anyway. I don't know if it's going to work or not. Apparently these are notoriously hard to bleed, but we'll give it our best go, see how we get on. So first thing, when do you need to bleed your clutch? The clutch system is hydraulic, it's a sealed system, it shouldn't really have any openings or closings. You'll need to bleed your clutch if you've just changed it, if you've disconnected any of the lines going to the clutch cylinder, had them off for any reason, had the slave cylinder off, anything like that really. If the pedal gets soft or spongy, again, that could be because of air in the lines, because of one reason or another. So that's when you should bleed the clutch. Generally, you shouldn't have to, unless you've removed something, if there's air getting in, that's a symptom of a leak. So you can try and just bleed it up, and hopefully that'll work for you, but more than likely, there's a fault somewhere, there's a little hole or a little seal's not doing its job anymore, and it's just going to happen again. So the first step when bleeding your clutch is to find your bleeder nipple, and I'll go ahead and show you this one now. So to get the bleeder nipple, you will need the car jacked up. As always, jack safely, use axle stands. And we slide under, and we can see it here. It's just beside this engine mount, which is nice and polybushed. Just beside it there, we can see the cylinder, and this is the bleed nipple on the end. Not sure what size it is, it looks like a 10mm, I'll have to see. But first step is to make sure that moves. Alright, switching to the wide angle here so we can see. It is 10mm. What I recommend doing, especially with older cars like this, 25 years old now, is you use a 6-point socket just to crack it loose. You will need a ring spanner to actually bleed the clutch, but because there's a 6-point, it's less likely to round it off. Thankfully this one here isn't too tight. It'd help if I was loosening it. So you can see that's turning now. Now, just like to check, make sure it's going to actually open first. See, when you're doing anything, like a diff or a gearbox, make sure you loosen the opening hole first, so then you don't drain all your fluid out and have no way of getting it back in. Okay, so here's what we need, and here's the plan. You need brake and clutch fluid. Just a note, if you look on the cap, it does specify use only .3 brake fluid, and this is clearly .4. Recommended by COMA for applications requiring .3, so this will work for us. Just make sure you double check. Any bottle really that you fucking get a drink in. Some silicone hose, I think this is 4mm in our diameter. It's vacuum lined, same size vacuum line as the car uses. And an air gun, and the basic plan is we're going to take that little cap off on the top, like I did at the start, and again I can't do it with one hand. Yeah, fuck it. Take that cap off, there's a little hole, and fill the reservoir, open the bleed nipple, sorry for the camera work, and blow compressed air through that hole, down through the line, hopefully out the nipple. It'll then come out of the nipple into this tube, into this bottle, and in this bottle at the bottom we're going to put about 1 inch of brake fluid. What that does, because the end is submerged, it can't suck up air, so once we've got it nice and bled up, it's not going to airlock itself again. So yeah, just get set up now I suppose. Alright, so we've got air in our compressor, blowgun ready to blow air through that. As I was talking about, just 1 inch or 2 in the bottom of the bottle, that way no air can come up because the end of it is submerged. And I will show you how it goes on. Alright, so we've got our bottle set up, and our pipe going up onto the bleed nipple, which is now open. So we're gonna introduce the compressed air, and hopefully we get fluid out into that little bottle. Okay, so I have just under 5 bar in this compressor, and it is way too much. It just blew the lid off twice. But the fluid level did go down, so this should work. So I'm just gonna let some of that air out. Alright, we're now down to 2 bar, just over, it's about 28 psi. Gonna try it again, see how this time goes. And all we're doing is, you see the little hole, we're just putting our blowgun over it, pressing down, and giving it a little jab. You see it swell up, another little jab, being very delicate. And we can see the level going down, so it's going somewhere. And probably one of the most important things here is just keep the reservoir topped up, because if it goes empty, we're just pushing air down the line back to square one. So fill it up as much as you can. Try it once, maybe twice, and then just fill it up. Keep it topped up, can't have too much in it. And then once you've got it topped up, lid back on, and we'll try it again. Just tiniest little amounts of air. See, there probably still have too much air in this compressor. Wouldn't be hard to blow this off again. Just ever so slightly, keeping a wee bit of pressure. And now we'll top it up again. And as you can see, I've let it go empty, so probably just introduce more air. Not to worry, still learning, you know. Every day's a learning day. Let's check our bottle. Oh yeah, there's more in there than we started. This should be working. You see how dark it is too, so do no harm to flush out the system. So I'm just gonna keep doing this for a minute, and I'll let you know how it works. Alright, hopefully you'll be able to see this on camera. But you can actually see the level drop quite quickly. So, I'll give it a bit of air. Nope, missed the hole. There we go. You can see the level dropping. Now once you see it drop a bit, just stop. Take the lid off. And top it up again. Now I recommend doing this probably at least 5 times, and then you can go check the bleed nipple. Or yeah, you can go back round to the back and check. Before you press the clutch pedal, you will have to close the bleed nipple, otherwise it's not a sealed system, it can't build pressure. Okay, so I've done that, just what I was doing there, but another 5 times. Come back to the bottle, you can see it is now pretty full and pretty disgusting. So next thing I want to do is just close up that bleed nipple before you take the pipe off. Now that's very important, it has to be closed up first, otherwise you'll introduce air and you'll be back to square one. Okay, close the bleed nipple, remove the pipe. Now to just check, as you can see, we have a clutch pedal. It feels nice, feels like it should. So yeah, that's worked really. And that's basically it. I was actually really afraid to tackle bleeding the clutch in these, because I've heard horror stories, people trying for hours and hours and hours to bleed these and getting nowhere. And that's because they're bleeding it like you would bleed any other clutch. These are different for one reason or the other. But yeah, all you need, the bottle, some hose, an air compressor, and some brake fluid really, and a bit of patience, 10mm spanner. Yeah, there you go. That probably took me altogether less than 20 minutes. That was the first time I'd ever done it. So yeah, really simple. Next job, brakes, and we can get this thing back on the ground and maybe even get it for a drive. So hope you learned something. Hope at least someone finds this useful, you know. If one person learns something from this video, that's all that matters to me. So anyway, have a good day guys, thanks for watching.